Shop online safely. My choice for the best free virtual credit card. Hi everyone, I'm Leo Notenboom for askleo.com. If you find this video helpful at the end, would you please hit that thumbs up button? That helps me, and it also helps other people find the answers they're looking for out on YouTube. So I'm a big Star Trek fan, have been for decades. And when Star Trek Discovery was announced to be released on a streaming service, CBS All Access at the time, I signed up right away. Not a problem. Take my money. I have a friend who similarly is a Star Trek fan and someone who I felt would really enjoy the show, particularly after I finished the first season. I wanted to give him a subscription as a gift. I think it was a Christmas gift, if not a birthday gift. And I realized that there really wasn't a way to do that. I couldn't go to CBS All Access and sign up in his name. I had to sign up as me, but then give him an account, and that just didn't seem like the right way to do things. Well, as it turns out, I found a solution, and it's a great solution in my opinion. I gave him a credit card and said, go use this to sign up for CBS All Access. And he did, and he's been watching Star Trek Discovery and others since then quite happily. But I didn't give him my credit card. I gave him a virtual credit card. So a virtual credit card really isn't a card at all. It's not like I handed him a piece of plastic. A virtual credit card is a credit card that is created on the fly. You simply go to your bank or the service that offers this and say, okay, I need a credit card. They give you a number. They give you the expiration date, they give you the security code, that kind of stuff. Poof, right there. Now, the reason that it is interesting at all is you can then specify that that credit card be limited in how it's used. Now, a lot of banks do offer virtual credit cards accompanying their primary credit card. Unfortunately, mine doesn't. So what I ended up doing was paying attention to an advertisement actually that I heard elsewhere for privacy.com. Privacy.com is in fact a free service that issues virtual credit cards on demand. Now there's a paid service that has fewer limitations, but ultimately, at least in my situation, the free service has been plenty for as long as I've been using it, and I've now been using it for well over a year, probably a year and a half. Here's how it works. You sign up for a privacy.com account, you link it to your bank or to a debit card, and you're done. It's set up. What you then do, and what I did, for example, when I decided to give my friend this CBS All Access subscription, is I asked privacy.com, create me a credit card. I was able to give it a name, CBS All Access for my friend, but I was also able to place limits on it. For example, I capped the amount that could be spent to a certain amount a year. I took at that time the annual subscription fee for CBS All Access, added a fudge to it because prices always go up, and said, okay, limit this card to this much a year. And I just displayed the card on my screen, took a screenshot, and gave that to my friend. It had all of the information, the credit card number, the security code, the expiration date, and more. It didn't need the address, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But the good news here is that as soon as he used that credit card to sign up for CBS All Access, that credit card will now only work with CBS All Access. In other words, when you use a virtual credit card from privacy.com, it is locked to the first merchant you use. His first charge was to CBS All Access. That card will now only work there. And I can, of course, adjust the spending limit at any time. And if for whatever reason I need to, I can turn the card off. In other words, I can immediately say this card is no longer valid simply by going to privacy.com. So it's a perfect way for me to give something to somebody without having to set up an account for them or give them a real credit card. It actually turned out to solve this particular problem for me very, very nicely. Now, naturally, whenever you're dealing with online purchases, one of the things you're always concerned about is this person that I'm dealing with reputable? Are they going to abuse the credit card information I'm about to give them? Well, this is really what privacy.com and virtual credit cards are really, really good for. You can set limits monthly, annually. You can specify that it can be used exactly once. And of course, as I said, the card is automatically locked to the first merchant you use it at, so that even if they somehow leak the credit card information, it won't work anywhere else. It just won't. It's a great way to protect yourself from credit card theft at these various merchants. Now, there are a couple of drawbacks. They're not huge, but you do need to be aware of them. One is that it's not a credit card per se. It's coming out of your debit card or your bank account. What that means is that the normal protections, at least in the United States, that come with making a true credit purchase on a credit card are not there. This is more like a debit card that happens to have the credit card logo on it. So you are not granted that extra protection by your credit card company. But that's offset by the incredible amount of protection you get by having this particular card locked to a single merchant and having limits to how much it can be spent and being able to turn it off at the drop of a hat just by visiting your account on privacy.com. It's all under your control, which I think is one of the things that really makes me feel comfortable using it over and over again. Another drawback, to be clear, is again, this is not using your credit card. It is using this debit card. That means if you are racking up mileage points with your credit card, that's not going to happen because you're not doing that. You're going directly to your bank. Also, there is no card. There is no physical card. This is not something you can take with you into a store and use. This is intended only for online uses where you'll be typing in the card number and the expiration date and so forth. And finally, of course, you do need to trust privacy.com. I've looked a little bit into its background, and they have been set up by people that I've elected to trust. And actually, like I said, I've been doing this for a year and a half now. It took me that long to feel really comfortable enough to recommend this service to you. So the question that naturally comes up is, why is it called privacy.com? None of this has been about privacy. It's all been about protecting yourself from credit card misuse, credit card abuse, and credit card theft. Well, one of the things that merchants accepting credit cards need to do is provide an address, or at least a billing zip code associated with the card, which means that you're kind of exposing your location to whomever it is you're purchasing from, sometimes unnecessarily. It may have nothing to do with the purchase you're making. Privacy doesn't check any of that. In other words, it doesn't matter what zip code you enter, privacy.com will authorize the transaction. It doesn't matter what address you enter. They're not checking that. All they care about are the card number, the security code, and the expiration date. Those three things are enough for this card to go through. Your privacy is protected by not needing to actually expose exactly where you are. Now, as I mentioned, privacy.com actually has two plans. They have a free plan and a paid plan. The difference, this pro plan as they call it, costs $10 a month. When you're using the free plan, you can create up to 12 cards per month. So if I suddenly need a 13th card, that's not going to work for me until the next month rolls around. The Pro plan lets you create something like 20 or 30, anyway, more cards, and you get 1% back on all of your purchases. In my case, I've actually not found a need for the Pro plan. I really haven't. It's one of those things where I'm not doing that many different merchants and I don't need that many different cards. And I honestly believe that especially if you're just dipping your toe into this water. Choosing 1 or 2 merchants to give it a try for a while and see what kind of control you have and whether you like the experience, the free plan could be plenty for you for pretty much ever. It's the plan I have, and it's the plan that I expect to stay with for as long as I use the service. So that's it. Privacy.com. They protect your privacy and your money at the same time. I recommend them. For links related to this topic, for the original article on which this video is based, which goes into this in a little bit more detail, and of course for any updates and comments, visit askleo.com/128848. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.